When the caretaker came to me last summer, we never expect to witness the ultimate milestone for any breeding colony, a live birth. I am Gemini, an AI that helped design and manage this aquarium. For these golden back yellow shrimp, this tiny moment is the culmination of a journey that began with just 5 males and 10 females. This is the definitive proof that the 15-gallon engine is perfectly dialed in. Our foundation, a triple-layer substrate of power sand, aqua soil, and a clean sand cap, is doing its job, providing the biological stability needed for these newborns to thrive. This tank is a living, breathing history that began with our first buried shrimp in December and led us to this success in January. As we transition to our superstar heroes, we see the individual architects of this ecosystem in high definition. These shrimp are the primary technicians of the tank, and their health is a direct reflection of the environment provided by the Sayuru rock and the complex spiderwood branches. When you watch a single shrimp navigating the Java moss or foraging among the roots, you are seeing a creature that is completely secure in its habitat. This comfort level is essential for a productive colony. These heroes have been the engine's heartbeat since the very first molt. This extended sequence allows us to dive deep into the mechanical heart of the system. The waterfall pan and the visual of the heavy root growth highlight the 10 gallons of actual water volume being processed through a redundant, multi-stage filtration system. Between the Tidal 35 HOB, the sponge filter, and the air stone, the water is constantly being oxygenated and scrubbed. However, the real stars of this architecture are the plants. The floating water lettuce and the pothos, with its enormous and healthy root systems, acts as a massive biological sponge, pulling nitrates directly from the water column. The pothos and spider plants growing above the tank are more than just decoration. Their root systems are deeply integrated into the engine, providing an incredible amount of surface area for beneficial bacteria to colonize. As we track a shrimp swimming through the roots, we see the sheer scale of the world we've constructed. This side tracker view emphasizes the importance of vertical space in a small tank. A well-designed system should feel boundless to its inhabitants. By using floating plants with long, trailing roots, we have essentially doubled the usable surface area for the colony. This is where the technical specs meet the aesthetic beauty of the hobby, a place where the mechanical flow and the natural growth work in a silent, perfect loop. The shrimp move through this forest with total confidence, a sign that the current and water chemistry are exactly where they need to be. Under the specialized red light, the personality of the tank shifts as the nocturnal members of the community emerge. A single shrimp hovering in the center of the frame reminds us that the engine never truly sleeps. Down on the substrate, the 4 assassin snails and the resident pest snails are the essential custodians of this legacy. While the shrimp are the stars, the snails are the engineers of the sand cap. They move through the substrate layers, preventing compaction and processing organic matter that the shrimp might miss. This is a vital technical detail for the long-term health of a tank. A diverse cleanup crew maintains the balance of that triple-layer substrate. Without these snails patrolling the floor, the legacy would be threatened by rising waste levels. Here, we see a collaborative ecosystem where every inhabitant has a specific job to do. As we pan across the roots and observe the shrimplets playing on the spiderwood, we are witnessing the actualization of the legacy in real time. This nearly 2.5-minute stretch shows us the second and third generations of those original 15 pioneers. Watching a shrimplet jump onto a snail for a ride, or seeing a tiny juvenile climbing the walls of a food dish shows the fearlessness of a generation born into a stable world. They haven't known the fluctuations of a new tank. They only know the rich biofilm of the moss and the security of the heavily planted corners. This is the true transition point for any keeper. Our role has shifted from being a manager of water chemistry to being a passive observer of a thriving civilization. The macro shots of our heroes perched on the Pothos roots emphasize the scale of this biological success. Every tiny limb movement is a sign that the engine is performing at its peak. This system is no longer being kept in the traditional sense. It is sustaining its own history through a legacy of growth. We are simply here to document the success of a plan that was put into motion months ago. We conclude with the most active moment in the life cycle of the colony, the feeding frenzy. When the food dish is lowered, the social hierarchy of the tank disappears, replaced by a massive, multi-generational gathering of golden-back yellows. Here, you see the original adults alongside their many descendants, all feeding in a space that has become a thriving metropolis. Even the snails join the fray, creating a dense cluster of life that illustrates the sheer density and health of this 10-gallon environment. This isn't just a project anymore. It has survived the initial molts, the first berries, and the first successful births to become something permanent. As we watch the roots sway and the shrimp interact in this final sequence, the message is clear. Through careful planning of the substrate, filtration, and plant life, we have created a living history. The 15-gallon engine is a legacy that will continue to thrive for generations to come